It is what it is. We're moving on. Greetings babies, my name is Koketo Mukwana and today we are covering beauty / makeup essentials. To start off, I've put some Vaseline on my face, just a tiny little bit, because it is winter now in South Africa and my skin is very dry, and we all know that your skin routine will change from season to season. So I'm just putting on now a skincare serum. I use Gentle Magic. Now that that's on, we can start with the brows. A first essential is brows. I'm gonna go in with an angled brush like this, and I use a brow gel from Signature that I've had for years that is obviously very well loved. Also, what you will need is a spoolie, and this is just to brush out any product or help brush up your brows. Now that the brows are done, you can either leave them like this or you can put some concealer on. I honestly think that I want to leave them like this. I have the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD High Definition Concealer in the shade Warm Honey. So you can use this to conceal a little bit under your brows. And as a beginner, I suggest that you keep it as close to your skin tone as possible. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but the lighter the shade, the more you have to work with it and get it to be very well blended and look seamless. You get what I'm saying? So the closer it is to your skin tone, the easier it will be for you to manage when you highlight or conceal and carve your eyebrows to your preferred shape. But for today, I'm gonna skip out on that. I really like how my face is looking. Next, I'm gonna go in with the Smudge Perfecting Concealer in the color Misty Beige. With this, I'm gonna use to highlight underneath my eyes, my chin, and then also a little bit here. Now that my face is fully blended out with another essential that you need, a beauty blender. I know that mine is looking a bit gunky, and honestly, it is what it is. We're moving on. I've taken now my other smudge concealer. It's still the Smudge Perfecting Concealer in the color Mahogany. This is going to be to contour with. I'm going to add just a small line. And then we're going to take the beauty sponge again and just blend that out. Also put it right here at the tip of your nose so your nose looks like it ends. I'm going to take my Clarins lipstick. Yes, it looks like a hot mess. This is what makeup looks like when kids get to it, just say. Another essential that you will need is blush. But I don't have blush, which is why I use a lipstick. So if you have a lipstick that you really like and a lipstick that you can use as blush, you can dab into it. It's not a matte lipstick and it just glides on. This is why I can use it. So if you're gonna use a matte lipstick, you can mix it with some concealer, at least, so that it doesn't dry out when you put it on your cheeks, and then you can just dab it on. What I do is I take a brush that I got from Mr. Price. This is the Scarlet Hill collection. I will go through the brushes with you. I just dab some of the product on the brush, just like that. I have the LA Girl Luminous Glow Skin Illuminator in the color Afterglow. This is also another essential because it's highlighter, so you can decide whether you want cream highlight or if you want powder highlight or both. I take the product just like that. I mean, it would be better if you could just swirl it around somewhere, but I just squeeze the brush so I have more control. I'm gonna start at the top. My blush usually goes into my temples, and then I just control where all the product goes because we stay squeezing like this. Beauty blender again, and essentially, excuse the light on the mirror. And we're just gonna blend it and blend it in like this. Then take the same side that you blended the concealer in with, and then dab in between and around. Should I open here? Oh no, that's far too bright. And this is what it will look like. Now is the point where you can decide you want to add foundation. This is how I do my foundation routine. I put everything at the bottom and then I put foundation over the top, just so that everything doesn't get muddy and there's less room for mistakes, in my opinion, when I do it that way. I can do it the other way, where you layer foundation and put everything on the top. I definitely can do that, but for a more relaxed, natural look, I do it like this. But today I'm gonna do a no foundation look. Another essential would be foundation. I use the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD High Definition Long Wear Illuminating Foundation in the shade Bronze. Another essential that you'll need, powder. Please don't forget about the creases. And just set your under eyes like this. I'm just gonna put a little powder on my forehead, eyebrows. Now, what I find also helped me a lot was my NYX 3 Steps to Sculpt palette. My highlight broke. It was finished anyway, so those are the little crumbs hanging out there at the bottom. Very sad, but I still salvage. To set my contour, I just take a little bit of this, and preferably use a fluffy brush. I'm not going to use this brush because it's so dense that it makes it very harsh. It makes the contour look like contour. So I'm going to skip out on this brush, and I'm going to go in with the brush that I was just setting my face with, because I actually set my whole face with this brush. I'm just going to tap into it, dust off any excess, and just lightly brush, just to bring some color back into the face. And now, since I have product on here because I dipped into it, I'm just going to run that down the sides of my nose, because I still have to set that in there. Like, can you see the difference that just made? My nose is like heavily contoured now, but I still like how it looks. My face still looks very natural. So now I'm gonna go into those little crumbs that I showed you for my eyes, and I'm gonna pat conceal. I'm gonna pat that under my eye. So the highlighter in the contouring palette just has a nice brightening effect. So if you look carefully, you can just see the difference, that on this side the eye is brighter. If you don't have this step, you can just go on and add concealer before you set your eyes. To complete this look, I'm just gonna add some body bronzer. I use body bronzer from Scarlet Hill, or you can use highlight. And this palette, this 3 Steps to Sculpt, does have highlight here. So I have that highlight, I have this liquid highlighter, and then I have this body bronzer. So it's like a deeper toned highlight. I take the same brush that I blushed with, and I just run that over my cheeks. So once we've highlighted, you can now go in with a eyeshadow palette. The one that I use is this eyeshadow palette. Having a nice neutral toned eyeshadow palette is very essential. But if this is going to be maybe too much for you, or if it's going to overwhelm you, the one my sister started out with that I still have is this Wet n Wild trio. It had it in here, it was written brow bone, crease, and this is the eyelid. So you just know that you put this on your brow bone and it came with this little brush to apply. So I just take a nice fluffy brush and I go into any browns. So today I'm not gonna do too much at all, so I can just go in with a light brown. I'm gonna go in with this brown, just gonna swirl it in there. And what I do is I use the same brush. So now we've put concealer on our lids, so it's okay. And then I'm gonna take a darker brown and I'm just gonna pat that into my crease, just to give my crease some definition. Blend it very nicely into my crease. And then you can just go back into the brown that you started with and then just blend. And then you can use that brown to blend out the edges. And I know that when we hear the word blending, we can just freak out, but really there's no need. What I can do is I can just take some of the white and pat it in here. Just make it nice and bright in there. And the eyes are done. Very simple, which is why I say you need to have a neutral eyeshadow palette. It's very easy to start with and it's the best thing to start with. And then next up, an essential that you need is some eyeliner. Last up, mascara. And we're done. Let me just take my hair down. Kind of just give you a full scope of the face. So this is what my face is looking like. I know foundation, easy makeup look, but this is also just about your makeup essentials. For tools, you'll need a concealer brush, you'll need a spoolie, and you'll need an angle brush for your eyebrows, and of course the concealer brush to carve and shape your eyebrows, and then the spoolie to brush through the product and make everything even on your eyebrows, just to control those little fluff balls. For more brushes, you will need, well, let's start with this. You're gonna need a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. This is a highlight brush for the highlighter, and then this is a powder brush for the face. This is what I use to powder my entire face. And then an angled brush to contour, and then a nice fluffy brush. It also has a bit of an angle for your blush. For eyes, I used only one brush today. I used this fluffy blending brush, and then there's also a angled brush to create a wing with your eyeshadow or the eyeliner that you'll be using. And then there's a flat brush to add pigment. It's the one you just dab with, and then you can use the blending brush to blend it out. So I started out with these three brushes and I made do with them. I still use them. I have other brushes. I have these Frayara brushes, but I rarely ever tap into it. Only when I'm trying to do a complicated look do I ever tap into these brushes. Those three brushes, they work for me. For face products, you will need eyebrow products, you'll need eyeliner, mascara, a neutral eyeshadow palette, or even just a small trio or a duo that's just gonna get you through. And you will need concealer, a light concealer to highlight and a darker concealer to contour. You will need some blush. If you have a lipstick color that you like, you can substitute with that instead, because that's what I do. You will need a highlighting powder or a cream highlighter, depending on what you want and what your preferences are. And then you will need a powder to set. Those are all of the essentials that you'll need for your makeup bag, whether you're packing or you're a beginner at makeup. And then a lipstick of your choice, whether it's matte or not, that is completely up to you. You can do a satin finish or you can do a completely matte finish. And even a powder, you can use a translucent powder, you can use a colored powder or a foundation powder. So the choice is up to you really, whatever you want to use and whatever you want to try out. And also you will need foundation. So those are your makeup essentials from me to you. And this is also a 2-in-1 video, a how to do a no foundation makeup look. This is very natural and also very put together. So if this is something that you enjoy, these are the kind of videos that I post along with style content. So thank you so much for sticking around. I'm Koketo Mugwana and I will see you in the next one.